Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and today I'll be showing you how to make this cute little Mickey Mouse. It can be a charm, an ornament, or it would be great for a package topper for a present. So I think it turns out really cute, and I don't think it's too difficult to do. Now you can make this either using the full-size Rainbow Loom, which I'll be showing it on today, or you can make it on the monster tail, because we'll just be working with these 6 pins in the shape of a rectangle. So for your bands, you'll need 67 black, 19 red, and 2 white. And as I said, we're just going to be working with 6 pins, and you want your loom to be set up so the pins are in line with one another. And we're going to be working with a rectangle shape here. So we're going to first start with black, and I'm going to place this on the 6th pin up on my loom here in the center row, and it's going to go over to the right and twist. And now I'm going to take another black, and this is going to go from the top on the right and come down. And there's no need to twist. We're always going to be laying the bands from the top down, that's important. And now again another black from this middle to the next pin down. And then finally I want to place a cap band on the bottom pin here. So it's going to be doubled. So I'm just placing it on my hook, twisting, putting it back on. So you'll see the 2 loops, and it's going to go right on top of that pin. And so now I'm going to do the looping. So I'm going to just push back with the back of my hook against the cap band, grab this bottom band, and you may want to use your finger to hold this cap band in place so it doesn't come off. Just going to that next pin above, and then the same thing, you're reaching inside and pulling this one to the pin above. And then we need to place another outside band on here that's going straight across. These are the border bands. And once you place that on, you need to remove the bottom. So on the right, you will have the bottom 3 bands. So you can either take them in sections, like the middle 2 first and then the bottom. Or if you want, you can grab all 3 at once. And then on the left side here, we have just the bottom 1. And now I want to add a second band that's going to go through this loop here, but I need to get it off of this pin. So I'm just going to grab it from the right side here. Just carefully slip it off of there. I'm going to leave it on my hook. Pick up another black. It's going from this middle on up. And then I'm going to just slide this right back on, and then I can loop. So I'm going to be doing that every time. So inside of each of these middle bands, I'm always going to have 2 other bands that go through it, because we want the circle to widen. And now I need to do another border band, and then once again the bottom 3, I'm just going to take them all at once. We'll come over the top, and then from the opposite side you're only going to have 1. So now that I have the 2 bands going through this loop, I'm done with it, so I can remove it from the loom here. That's our first little section, and we're going to be doing 4 of those sections to make a half circle. So now I'm going to jump to the center row, and I'm going to work from the top down again. So it's just 1 band from the top, and then another one from the middle down. And now I need this cap band to move over to the other side here. So I'm just going to pick it up from the bottom, get it off of that pin, and I just want to very slightly twist my hook and get this cap band to go on the inside edge here and slide it right on. That's important. You do have to do that little bit of a twist in order for it to come out right. And now I just need to do the looping again. And then I need that border. So this time I have the bottom 3 rubber bands on the left side, since we switched sides here, and just 1 on the right. And now again, I always want a second band to go through the middle loop. So I'm just going to remove this from the pin, and I am just going to make sure it stays on my hook. I mean, it's not going to come apart if it comes off of your hook, but it's just easier that way so you don't get it twisted or get confused at which direction it's supposed to go. So I'm sliding this rubber band on, and then I just want to slide this right back on the pin, and then I can loop. And then of course the border. We're always doing a border band every time. And the bottom 3 will come off the left this time again, and then 1 from the right. And then I can remove this middle because we're done with that. So that's 2 sections we've gotten done. And now I'm going to switch back to this row. It's whatever the opposite row of where the cap band is. And I'll place my next one. And now once again the cap band needs to change sides. So grabbing it from the bottom, removing it, and then just slightly turning it, getting it from that inside edge, getting it on. And now I can loop. And now the border. So again, I just have 1 from the left this time because it's switched, and I'll have the 3 from the right. Now I'm adding that extra loop here from the middle. I'm just sliding it off. And then right back on. And then the border. Now I can take this off. So that was my 3rd section. I'm doing 4. This part I'm doing now is going to be the main body part. So I'm doing the black half. And now finally from the top down in the center here, and now once again this has to switch over here, so I'm just slightly turning it, and then I can loop. And then I have to again get that extra loop to go through here to widen this. And then back on. And then finally the border. Can take this off here. So now I've completed half of a circle, and like I said, this is going to be the full circle. So now I want to switch to red. So I'm jumping back over here to the right. I'm going to do this next segment here that's red. Get this cap band to move right back over. And let me just turn this so you can see it a little better. I'll turn it to the other direction. Can loop here. And now of course the border band is going to switch to red as well. And then I need that second red to go through here. And now again the bottom. And now this can come off since we're done. We did our 2 bands through it. And now for this next part, I do want to put some of these white bands on the red. This is going to be like the little button. So in order to do this, I'm going to quadruple a white. So you're just going to twist, put it back on, twist, put it back on, and then one more time. So you'll see the 4 loops on your hook. That's what you want. And then I'm going to take a red band and I'm just going to slide this on. Just make sure all of the loops get on there. And you can just take a second to try and get them nice and even. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the second one while I'm at it. So I'm just quadrupling and sliding it onto a red. Just put it right about in the center. And so now I'm going to do this center row here. And this is where I'm going to put one of the bands with the white on. So this is going to go from the middle up. And then just a plain red from the middle down. And now I'm going to switch sides here. So this is getting very full, and it will get even fuller. So you might want to use your thumb or finger to sort of push these bands out of the way so you can get a clearer view of your cap band and where it needs to go. So my hook's stuck in there. And now I'm going to do the looping. So it's just the same as always. And then the border. And now I do need to add that second red, so I'm sliding this off. Again, it's just going to be a plain red. So I know it can be a little bit challenging when you have to remove the rubber bands to put another one on and then slide it back on. But since it basically uses the same pattern for the whole tutorial, I think after you get the hang of it, you'll be flying through here. So now I'm switching back to the right and I'm just doing plain red here. And as I said, the fuller that this gets, the harder it is going to be to work with. So just take your time. And now I need to add the second band here. So this is where I am going to put my next button. So I'm just slipping this off. And now I'll do the loop here. And then I can take this off. And finally we have one more layer of red here. It's going in the center. This is going to be the toughest one here. Just kind of push these out of the way so I can see my cap band. And then the last red here that goes through this loop. this one back on. Gonna do the looping. And now I'm going to put a black band here for the border instead of a red. Get that bottom to come off. I can release the red and I can release the black. It's going to come all the way closed here. And you'll see here, there's the very first border band that we put on. You'll have to find the very end here. And you can just pull. You'll see it's the one where if you pull one side, the other one goes all the way in. So just find your two bands here. And what you're going to do is put one of them, push this down here. One of them's going to go on the left. And then the other one's going to go over to the right. So this is just going to help close that circle. And now I'm taking the bottom band and coming over the top. And so now you'll see out the bottom here we have this circle. It's half red and half black. And so now we just need to do the ears, and they're the exact same pattern that we've already been doing, only it's all black and they're just half circles. So you'll be doing 4 sets of bands to make that half circle. It's the same amount of the black that we did for the big circle. So let me just show you just the very first section here. Again, you're starting on the top, working your way down, and of course the rest is going to just be all black here. And then you're going to double a band. You got to make a new cap band. And then you're going to loop. And then put that outer band on. So you still have this bottom to come off the left, just the 1 and 3 on the right. And we're still doing that pattern where we're doing 2 bands going through every one of these centers. So I'm just sliding this off, right back on, and loop, and then a border. So this is like one section that I just showed you. You're going to do 3 more of those sections. So I'm just going to fast forward here, and if you feel like you don't quite have the hang of it and you need to follow along again, you can always just go back in the tutorial. So now I've completed 4 sections, so I'm done one of the ears. So I can just remove this middle and then also remove the bottom, the cap band. And you can see how it's looking. And also you can see that only one of the white bands is showing on this side, the other one's on the other side. But we're just going to slide that over to the right side when we're done here. And you can see my ear. And I'm just going to repeat this same process again. Now I've completed the other ear, the other half circle, so I can remove the middle and the cap band. You can pull this down so you can see how it looks like one long string here. And now I can take it off of the loom, so I'm just going to pick up the right side and then also the left, get them both on my hook, and I can just pull this out. So you can see this long string here, and what I'm going to do is just slide this around, and I want to actually take this very end one off of my hook but leave it in my fingers, and then I am going to just take my hook and go through the black bands here where they meet the red, just the 2 black border bands. And then I'm going to slide this other one back on that's in my fingers. So you should have 4 bands on your hook. I'm going to take one more black band and slide it through. Just make sure it goes through all 4. Put it back on my hook, and then the one end will slide through the other. Pull that nice and tight to make a slip knot. And then you want to hide that on the back here. So you just want to go through some of these black bands in the very middle, make sure it's not showing through to the front, and you can slide this through. And as I said, one set of the white bands shows on one side and one on the other. But that's easy to fix. All you have to do is just pull this out, and through this little hole here, just slide these white bands till they come around to the front. And you may just have to take a minute to try and get them organized. And now in the middle here, we still need to attach the center here in between the ears to the top of the head. So to do that, I'm just going to find the middle of the circle and just go through the 2 black border bands where the center is. And then also here in between the ears in the very middle, I'm going to go through those 2 black border bands. And then I'm going to take my last black band here, and I just want to get it to go through all 4 of these. Get it back on my hook. And now I am going to try and angle this more towards the back here. I'm going to slide one end through the other to make that slip knot. But as I'm pulling, I want to pull it towards the back. And then there you have your charm or ornament. So you can see that here where the ears are, they're not exactly attached to the circle. And I think with it being tacked here, it holds pretty well. I don't think you really notice that. But if you did want to make that solid, all you would have to do would be to take an additional black band and then attach it through this circle, the cap band in the middle, and attach it through the border bands just like we did up here. Pull that tight and then hide it in the back. You would do that for each ear, but I don't really find it necessary, but you can do whatever you like. And then if you wanted to, you could hide this little loop at the top, or if you wanted to hang it for an ornament, you can just leave it there and then you'll have something to hang it with. And then here's the other one that I had shown you at the beginning. So you might need to take a minute to do a little bit of adjusting till you get the bands to look nice and neat. But I think it turns out really cute. I hope that everyone enjoyed making their little Mickeys. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!